protecting everyone's property rights.
Question number 4, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Speaker, to the Minister of Finance, does he agree with all of the Prime Minister's statements on compulsory savings?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, does he then agree with the Prime Minister that, quote, KiwiSaver shouldn't be made compulsory because it, quote, goes against the National Party grain, end quote?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I think the member will be aware that the government is likely to be establishing a working group on savings which will look at a range of issues, KiwiSaver among them. It's quite important that we understand New Zealand's need to improve its national savings, and the Prime Minister has always been a strong advocate of that point of view.
Mr Speaker, will the terms of reference for his savings working group then reflect his statement that, quote, forget it, we're not doing compulsory super, we're not talking up incentives, close quote?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the member will just have to wait and see what the terms of reference say, but it will follow the practice that this government has followed on important issues, and that is a very open policy process where all points of view can be aired, and in the end the government will make some considered and very well balanced decisions aimed at improving our economic performance.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, translated, does that mean that this is simply another U-turn after the financial hub, mining Schedule 4 land and overseas investment? And when will the government instead present a real plan for an economy struggling with rising unemployment and falling business confidence?
The Honourable Bill English.
No, Mr Speaker, what it means is the government is taking seriously the long-term effort that's going to be required to deal with the habitual problem New Zealand has had of low levels of national savings, which were made considerably worse by the damage done by the Labor Party with its mismanagement in the last 3 or 4 years in office.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Is the Minister saying that National does in fact not have a policy and that it is a, quote, blank sheet, or is his policy simply to destroy the savings advances made by the previous government, like KiwiSaver and the pre-funding of New Zealand's superannuation?
The Honourable Bill English.
No, Mr Speaker, the government is indicating that on this substantial issue it's already taken a significant step with its tax changes in the 2010 budget, which are designed to reduce the incentive to consume too much and borrow to pay for it. And the indications are that New Zealand households at least are changing their ways and increasing their savings rate. And the next step is to see whether we can push further in the same direction.
Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister of Finance. Why is it necessary to lift national savings?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I think the one most obvious reason is because we owe to overseas lenders now $170 billion. And over the next 4 or 5 years it is projected to reach $250 billion, which in American numbers is $250 billion. That is a very large liability, and we need to turn it around. And one way we can turn it around is to lift levels of national savings.